Have you ever wanted to explore a charming fantasy world, but maybe not as your typical human self? What about if you could do it as a tiny little human? That's exactly what you get to experience in the upcoming game Animula Nook. I actually got to play this one early, so I'm going to give you a deep dive into everything I tried and my thoughts and feelings on everything, so you know what you can expect when you jump in for yourself. If you're interested in checking out this game, the closed alpha test is live right now, and you can also wishlist the game on Steam. I've left a link in the description if you want to learn more. I need to give a big thank you to the team behind Animula Nook for sponsoring today's video and also allowing me the early access. But for now, let's jump in and start exploring because this is a magical world. So what better way to start than at the beginning? Like most cozy games, you're thrown straight into the character customization window, and honestly, these designs might be some of my favorite character customization designs that I've seen in a while. Everything is just so cute, and I love the attention to detail here, especially with little things like the eyes having the little details in, really adorable. In total, there are 8 skin tones, which isn't going to capture everyone unfortunately, but it is better than some games. For the hair, there were also 8 styles. 4 of these were long ones and 4 of these were short. I personally went with the short pigtails, though it was really hard to choose. There is also a short afro, which is great, but I would have loved a longer version of this as well. Inclusivity is something that we should really value in our cozy games, so I really do hope that there will be more that you can unlock as you progress, or perhaps as the game is still in development, hopefully more will be added later. The outfits were also another tough decision. Every option in the beginning was super cute with a nice mix of styles and colours, and yes, I had to grab the cat straw hat. Who could resist this, especially if you are a cat lover? Once I finally decided on my look, I began exploring the world, and I quickly stumbled upon my new companion, which is a kitty-like whooper. You can pick from 5 options, and I decided to go for the spotty one that reminded me of my childhood cat that was called Jaffa. Yes, they were named after a Jaffa cake. If you know what that is, then you'll appreciate the different colours. This whooper, I would later realise, is very important as it actually helps you glide across the world when jumping. So not only is it this adorable, kind of cute, round, fluffy thing, it's also very functional to your gameplay, and it will help you explore later on. I think this is a really nice take on doing things a little bit differently, which you will see is a theme running throughout this game. Of course though, my whooper immediately ran off, so I followed them, taking in all of the storybook-like surroundings. Eventually, I spotted what would be my future home sitting on a desk and glided down. I'm gonna try and avoid spoiling the story for you too much, as I want you to appreciate it when you get to play for the first time, or perhaps if you've already played for the first time, then you will know how kind of nice it is. I'm mainly gonna focus on the gameplay side of things here. So I did explore a bit more, and I managed to unlock my first tool, which was a lollipop sledge. I've never seen this in a game like this, but I love the idea of it. It is so cute, and I don't know if it would be the most kind of sturdy thing to use as a hammer, but hey, it makes a change from just seeing your old boring kind of tools. This one did help me a lot though, because it helped me knock down a house of cards which was blocking my way. I wasn't sure if the cards would be needed later, but they were so pretty, so I of course collected them all up. Soon after, I met my new friend Dilly. She explained that she is a mini and I'm a shrunken human who once inhabited this world. Dilly signed me up as a wish weaver at the Star Sand Association and sent me off on a few quests and gave me a lovely introduction to the world of the minis. The quests were all quite straightforward, and they did slowly introduce me to the different elements of the world. It was kind of like a do-it-yourself tutorial, learning as you go, which is definitely my preferred way of doing tutorials. I absolutely hate big walls of text, so this was nice to do. Before long, I got my own skateboard and deformation gun, which you might be thinking, what on earth is that? Well, this one actually lets you shrink objects to decorate with. So you could see like a giant lamp, for example, and then you can shrink it down and then you'll be able to use it in your own builds. This tool felt truly unique. I don't think I've seen anything like this in a cozy game. You can shrink as much as you possibly can because all of the items around you in your main homestead are your human items, so you can shrink them down, save them in the backpack, and then decorate with them later. I'm really excited to see how this tool is used as the story progresses. I think it's going to be really interesting, and it's definitely going to have a lot of capabilities. As I now have some furniture, I then got my first taste of decorating by building a little campsite. As someone who loves decorating in the games, I really was pleasantly surprised at how smooth it was to place items. The UI is neatly organized, which makes it easy and relaxing. So far, I have found some furniture in bubbles in the world, which I always find a good incentive to explore. If you give me furniture in the world, I always want to find it. But there is also shops and there will be crafting, which means I have already begun hoarding resources, and the resources are very creative given the theming of the game. So expect to be collecting things such as wooden toy blocks and playing cards. There are also some traditional building materials, but it would have been so easy for them to just leave it as that. But no, the developers have really added these extra details to make us feel fully immersed in the world. I perhaps went off on a little bit of a tangent there about the furniture, but I kind of wanted to give you an overview as to how you can get furniture and let you know my kind of initial thoughts on the building, but I'll run over a bit more about that later because it is really well done. Next, I was feeling a little bit hungry, so we had to sort out some food, and Dilly gifted me a labelly, which to the normal folk out there, this is a crafting bench. Once I had my labelly placed, I used this to create items such as the kitchen counter. Using the kitchen counter, I could turn berries into delicious dishes. Cooking in the game involves a rhythm mini game, which was pretty simple but fun, and it kind of adds charm to just kind of tossing all the ingredients in the workbench and then magically having something. So it's nice that there are these little mini games in the game. I also crafted a pencil case, which turns out to be your storage. Arguably, this is probably one of the cutest ideas I've ever seen, and yes, I might be biased because it's green. On the test server, I did receive some gifts and the backpack was huge. No stressing about the inventory limits by the looks of things in this game. Something else that I always appreciate when games add this in. Unlocking blueprints for the crafting did feel very rewarding, and I can't wait to discover more recipes. Next, I explored beyond my desk/homestead, and to do this, I stepped on my Woo bus, which transported me to the enchanting village of Wuruville. I didn't explore this area much at first, but this area is impeccably designed. It's got flowers, mushrooms, tons of things to collect, like fallen petals. Everything here is very on theme. I really tried to grab as much of these items when I went back later, because I know that maybe we might need these for crafting. It also looks like there are some different ways to help you collect items when it does come to exploring. For example, early on you find the slingshot, which don't worry, you aren't using this to fire at other people. Instead, you aim high into the sky to knock things down to make things easier to collect. I also loved how you could interact with different things in the world. For example, you could jump on certain flowers and then kind of sway back and forth to knock pollen down. And sometimes you actually need to get into the flowers too. It was at this point where I realized I actually really need to move into this world. Everything just felt so whimsical and I was loving every second of it. Back to my scheduled quests, and I built my first shop back at my homestead. I placed it near to the bus for convenience. The placement was simple and instant, and from there I was able to meet the shopkeeper, who is called Fobo. They had a delightful array of items for sale, everything from furniture to a bicycle with flowers on the front. And the good thing about this was they had items not only in their catalogue for sale, but they also had items out for display. On one side there was was like furniture pieces. On the other side, there was like clothing items. I loved also that things, once you have bought them initially, they kind of refreshed as well. So I hope, fingers crossed, that is something that stays, because I'm so tired of games where you only get a certain amount of furniture per day. I want more. Is that greedy? Maybe. As I continued, I unlocked the gardening, which was really easy to manage. The controls for this were quite simple and it didn't feel too grindy with it. I also really loved the fact that you are adding sunshine to the plants. So obviously you have to water them, but you also add sunshine, which you collect from the other world, and then you can kind of bring it back here, water it, and then add the sunshine. I just think that is such a cute feature. That is such a cute addition. I've never seen that else before, and it just makes so much sense. Yes, it kind of adds a little kind of step into your gardening and your decorating, but I love that they did that because it's so quaint and so cozy. After gardening, I discovered the other hobbies. So the first one was dancing. This one was a rhythm minigame, but this one I found pretty easy. All you had to do was kind of hit the button when the two things joined together in the middle. Maybe this will get harder over time, but I found this one to be quite relaxing. Some of the kind of dances were a little bit longer than the other ones, so I don't know if that's necessarily something that they need to have. They don't all need to be that length, but overall it was pretty good. There was also playing musical instruments. This one I found a lot harder. I don't know whether I just need to practice, because basically you have to put all of your fingers across the different keys and then they come down onto the screen. Again, it's a rhythm thing, so you have to press the buttons at the right time. I don't know whether this one is just a lot harder for me. I don't know if it is just me. Let me know if you played the game, if you struggled with this as well, but I would be interested to know. I don't think they should make it easier, because I think I just need to get my fingers in the right places and press at the right time. I think it is possible. It's definitely not impossible, but yes, it was a bit hard for me and my brain power. And my favorite thing that they've also added was kind of collecting perfumes. This was more of a tool as opposed to like a hobby, but when I came across it, I was like, I love how creative and unique this is. And it's just not a generic thing that you find in the game. I kind of appreciate how they've kind of stepped away from hobbies such as fishing and bug catching. Maybe that will come later, but for now, I appreciate that they have kind of given us something different. I also visited the challenge realm, which had its own shop and levels to go through. There was a little bit of jumping required here, but as someone who is terrible at that sort of thing in games, it wasn't hard at all. There was a tiny bit of combat, but all I had to do was hit them with my lollipop, and they did jump around a bit, but I don't think it was too challenging. I also had to find the triggers to unlock the portals to the next area, which added like a tiny bit of puzzling to the experience. But overall, I think these areas have great potential and they could add some different styles of gameplay. As I mentioned, the alpha test is now live, and as part of that, I was able to spend some time with other players in the world. From delving around, it looks like you can also do things together. There's things such as group performances by the looks of things with the music hobby, and it also looks like there's little mini games that I came across. Little activities that you can do together are very exciting, and if you want to play with your friends, it looks like this potentially will be a good one for that. I also discovered that there'll be daily quests to complete, which if you do manage to complete them, you'll be able to collect currencies, and then you will add them to your weekly rewards to collect cards. I haven't quite figured all of this out, but I personally like daily quests. It gives you some structure to my gameplay, and the rewards are a nice bonus too. So that was a snapshot into my starter gameplay in Animula Nook. Now I want to delve into some specific things that I really loved about the game. So one of the things that obviously I think has stood out to most of us is the graphics. From the trailers, the game looks beautiful and playing it lives up to that. I was a little bit worried going into this that it kind of would be style over substance, the graphics weren't going to be able to live up to it, but I was wrong. Every detail from character customization to the NPCs to the furniture to the world itself is adorable and highly polished. When you start in the beginning with the desk, you can see every little detail has been well thought out and the designs are wonderful. and this level continues as you explore the different areas, which just makes the whole experience an absolute joy. Whilst exploring the village, every different turn you take gives you a new experience and something fresh to look at. There were like jam jars, there was like giant teapots, flowers everywhere, some wonderful homes. Honestly, I could reel off all of them, but my absolute favorite was, of course, the daisy flower field, where you could just literally walk across the daisies because, of course, we are tiny humans and tiny humans get to do things like this. So I just really need to take a moment and appreciate all of the tiny details that are in this game. The gameplay aside, is just this which makes the whole thing so charming. Even the challenge area that I visited, though this was slightly darker, I believe to kind of represent nighttime, it had a great theme. It was focused on painting and art. This was also beautifully crafted with interactive elements and things to collect. So honestly, no matter where you look in this game, this world is visually delightful, and the quality is something that I haven't seen in many cozy games before. The graphics of the game obviously feed nicely into the story and theming in the world. They're kind of intertwined because of the influence of kind of the Lilliput and Gulliver's Tale. The style of fantasy world here is wonderful. We are obviously shrunken down, and I love to see how this whole theming plays out with the graphics together, and it obviously gives us really unique perspective of the world. The story is well told through interactions of not only objects but also the NPCs themselves. They all help build the feeling of fantasy in this game. The minis do a really good job of bringing the world to life. There are lots of different NPCs to meet in the game, and they do all have distinct appearances and appear to have different roles. For example, one taught me how to make music and another showed me how to collect the perfume. I have also undertaken some quests from the minis too, so I'll be excited to try more of that. You can also level up your friendship with them, and if you want to, it appears you can invite them to live on your homestead too. There are also fun emotes that you can do in the game, meaning if you want to interact with them, you can also that way too. But aside from the story and the wonderful graphics, obviously I've gone over the gameplay and I have been enjoying that. It is very much focused on life simulation activities, which is something that I generally look for in my gameplay anyway. But there is a lot of hobbies and tools which do well to support the gameplay in this game. The loop itself is very relaxing, which is helped by the soothing background music, but at no time did I actually physically feel like there was a rush or need to do something immediately. I was quite free to wander off and explore the world, which I think is really important when you're playing a game for the first time. Not always do I want to follow the story, not always do I want to go ahead and do quests. I want to appreciate and learn about everything that is around me. Even though there are a lot of different life simulation games available, this one felt like a good mix between classic gameplay with things such as the farming, but also new and exciting abilities such as things like the perfume ability. I also love the creativity of the hobbies and tools. There are a lot of cozy games out there which kind of do feel like they've just been rehashed, and they do have a lot of similarities. But this one, because of the theming, the different hobbies and activities and tools, this didn't feel like that at all. If you are a farming sim fan, then you will be happy to know that the gardening felt very smooth and it didn't feel like too much of a grind, which is always a bonus when playing a farming or gardening game. The area you could plant was also pretty large, so you didn't have to worry about tilling or planting certain areas. Each of the hobbies do also have their own skill tree, so if you enjoy that feeling of progression and unlocking new things, you are able to do that. As a wish weaver, you can also progress through the wish weaver levels. This is done through collecting emoji, and one way to do that is by completing little life quests which show up on your phone. Some of these you will just kind of complete naturally, but if you do want to, you could focus on them and get your level up pretty quick. I think this is a great way to do progression, because if you start a new game and you're feeling overwhelmed, things like this can guide you as to what to do next. The rewards for progressing in the wish weaver levels are also really good. At the beginning, they will include things which are kind of integral to your progression, but as you get deeper into it, there are also things such as furniture pieces and clothing items. Who can say no to more furniture? Speaking of furniture, you can also progress through the desktop construction schedule to make your home better. This appears to be another way to earn blueprints. What is even better about this is that it also applies to your balcony, and it looks like there's going to be other areas to unlock on your homestead, including a terrarium and a book cabinet, which means that there's going to be lots of space for decorating and activities. Whilst on the topic, I think it's pretty obvious that the building and decorating is a standout feature for me. I was absolutely in awe of the beautiful furniture that was available in the shop, and also another shop I found whilst out on a trip, so be sure to search high and low for shops, as it looks like there are going to be a few options, but no matter what shop you visit, they all have adorable furniture. The theming is wonderful for all of the pieces. I can only expect what more they will add as the game progresses. The ability to shrink down items you have on your desk, as I covered, is also super unique, and I love that we can kind of recycle these. Once you have your furniture, the mechanics are very smooth. It was super easy to kind of access your construction mode, place down the items, rotate them. Even if you want to, you can place them on top of other things, which is really good if you love a cluttered look. You can decorate both outside and inside your house, and the house size for your basic one is quite decent. From the outside, it doesn't look like much at all, but as you step inside, it's a good size and you could really decorate quite a lot in there. I think the decorating in the game is going to be perfect for beginners and also pro decorators. If you're a little bit nervous about decorating, I don't think you're going to struggle, because I don't think it's possible to make anything look bad in this game. The items are so gorgeous. And if you're a pro, I think you will just appreciate how nice everything looks, and placing things is so smooth. Overall, I really think Animula Nook is going to be a cozy game to keep your eye on. It's obviously going to appeal to the cozy game audience because of the wonderful graphics and the story, but from the snapshot I have played so far, I think this one is going to have a lot more to give. It definitely has some unique elements that I haven't found elsewhere, so if you're tired of playing the same old farming sim, then this one you will want to give a go when it releases. I'm also excited for the future, because the way the game is mapped makes me believe that there is going to be room for expansion within this game, and obviously that means more development, maybe with the current NPCs, maybe even add more to the game. There is going to be a lot of potential here with this theme, because you could just kind of adapt it to fit to any kind of area. So I think definitely one to watch. For those who are thinking that this might be more style over substance, I think you will be pleasantly surprised how much this game will have to offer, and I don't even think I've scratched the surface with it. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know if you have tried the game. If you haven't tried the game, be sure to add it to your wishlist on Steam. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon with another one. Bye bye!